Hey everybody, how are you doing? Just want to give a shout out to my Calvary Chapel College girls in Joshua Springs, CBI, Calvary Chapel Bible Institute. Amazing place to learn, and love you girls so much. Okay, and the Calvary Chapel, obviously high school girls, which I saw you today. I'm so excited about that. Love being back there. And then Calvary Chapel ladies and so many of you others that are following along. We are finally done with Proverbs. I know I'm going to miss it, but anyway, these are also on YouTube. And make sure you check out some of our Bible studies that are going on right now. We meet at the church, but they're posted online. We're going through the book of Ephesians. God is able. Okay, video number 20 and Proverbs 31, verse 27. One of our favorite subjects. She watches or looks well to the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Oh boy. Believe me, I'm convicted of these scriptures as well. Okay, she watches. Not asleep, she's awake, but someone who's attentive, to keep vigil, to oversee, to supervise, to tend. Moms, what are your kids watching? Moms, what are your kids doing? Are you looking and seeing what's happening in your home? Don't bury your head in the sand. Watch what's going on. People who sleep, again, miss a lot. I always think of the story of Rip Van Winkle, who slept for 100 years and he woke up and wow, everybody's gone. Everything changed. But again, those on social media kind of are asleep too. Don't be too much on TV or social media. You're not really living life, okay? It's not real life, not really living. Your brain waves, they did a study on brain waves. When you sleep, they kind of go up and down, up and down. And your brain on social media or TV goes up and down, same thing. So kind of like you're sleeping, okay? But you want to keep awake. Wake to life. You're going to miss a lot. Okay? Plus, you can see and not really see, if you know what I mean. You can see and not really see. But be attentive, be observant. Again, to keep vigil. A soldier could be put to death if he fell asleep on his watch because he was responsible for his whole outfit. If he was asleep and couldn't warn of the enemy, yikes, he might be put to death because of that. But to keep guard, to keep watch. You know that watchman in those old movies, 1 o'clock and all is well, you know. Are you saying that? Are you watching? Or to keep someone or something under close observation. How we need to do that with our children. To observe as a spectator, a keeper, a custodian, a lookout, a sentinel, and again a watchman. I think you get the point. I love that game where you put things on a tray and you have to stare at it for a minute and then they put it away and you have to write down, what did you see during that minute? What did you observe? And I'm amazed at what people retained and what they saw and what they didn't see. Anyway, Sherlock Holmes, what was he famous for? Seeing the tiny little detail that people missed. He saw the tiny little detail which solved the crime. And what's that saying? The devil's in the details. The devil's in the details. The devil's pretty observant, I'll tell you that. How much more should we? Okay, and the opposite of watching. The opposite is to disregard, to ignore, or to tune out. Wow. To disregard, to ignore, and to tune out. Luke 12 tells us, blessed are those servants whom the master, when he comes, will find watching. Okay? You know, when somebody walks through the door, your boss walks through the door, is your feet up on the desk loafing, or are you like doing your work? Are you attentive? Were you watching for him? Blessed are servants whom the master, when he comes, will find watching. Therefore watch and be ready, for Jesus is coming in an hour that you do not expect. Jesus is coming in an hour that you do not expect. That's Luke 12. Okay, 1 Corinthians 16:13. Watch, stand fast in the faith. Watch and stand fast in the faith. Matthew 24:42. Watch therefore, for you do not know what hour Jesus is coming. Watch therefore, you don't know what hour Jesus is coming. He can come anytime. Mark 13:33. Take heed, watch and pray. Take heed, watch and pray. Okay, 1 Thessalonians 5:6. Let us not sleep as others do, but let us watch and be sober. You know what inebriates you? What keeps you not sober? You want to be sober. You want to be awake. You want to be aware of all your faculties. So do not sleep. Watch. Habakkuk 2:1, I will stand on my watch and set myself on the rampart or on the walls and watch to see what he will say to me. How exciting. And just when you're waiting for someone that you love to talk to you, aren't you just so attentive? So how we need to be like that. I'm going to wait and I'm going to see what he has to say to me. Okay, Matthew 26:41, watch and pray lest you enter into temptation, for the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Watch and pray lest you enter into temptation, for the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. You know, don't you love that? Your spirit is willing. Your spirit will always do the right thing, but your flesh is weak. Ooh, have you fed your flesh? It's going to win. You know those two black dogs? Whoever you fed the most will win. So if you're feeding your flesh, again, too much TV, too much flesh, too much social media, your spirit's going to lose out. But how you need to watch and pray. Feed your spirit. Be in the Word. Be in fellowship. Okay. Mark 14:37. This is sad. Mark 14:37. Then Jesus found them sleeping. Remember when he was in the Garden of Gethsemane praying for them just before he's going to the cross? Guys, could you not watch with me just 1 hour? Just 1 hour. That's all he says. Could you not watch with me 1 hour? Good question for us today. And then he says, my soul is exceedingly sorrowful unto death. Like I needed you guys' support. You know, could you not watch with me 1 hour? He could say that to us today. Let's watch with Jesus more than an hour. But Luke 21:36, watch and pray always that you may be counted worthy to escape all these things that will come to pass. Let us watch and pray always that you may be counted worthy to escape all these things that will come to pass. And again, how are you counted worthy? Any works you do? No, by the blood of Jesus Christ. And somebody's mowing. I hope you can still hear me. Anyway, what does she do? She watches over the ways of her household. She watches over the ways of her household. You know, who's on your watch? You might not be married. A lot of you singles are watching this. But who's on your watch? Who's watching you? Who's observing you? Who are you in charge of? There's somebody you're in charge of. You know, sometimes when somebody does something really not so good at our school, Lloyd and I go, man, that was on our watch. I'm going to take responsibility for that. That's on my watch. A relative that goes awry, that's on my watch. We just pray, Jesus, keep those on our watch. Please keep those on our watch. Who's on your watch? Again, is your household a nurturing, warm, protecting, encouraging place to thrive and grow like a hothouse? Plants thrive in hothouses. Or is your house like an icebox, frigid, where plants are killed? Things die because it's just a frigid atmosphere. What's the temperature of your home? Is it warm? Is it inviting? What's it like? Or is it cold? Or is it sterile? Is there order or disorder? Is there peace or is unrest? What's the temperature of your home? A wise woman builds her house, but the foolish plucks it down with her hands. Wise woman builds her house, but the foolish plucks it down. It was said of either Susanna Wesley or Sarah Edwards, I'm not sure which one, but I can bring those out in another video. But that home was a bit of heaven. Walking into their home was like a bit of heaven. Wow. A place where the presence of God dwelt. Oh, how we want that. A place where the presence of God dwells. That's amazing. Order, peace, love, joy. You know, the family altar was front and center, not the TV. You know, I hope Jesus is the center of your home. I'll tell you what, then everything falls into place. You know, I hope you revolve your life around him. He needs to be the center of your home, the family altar, the center of your home. And I don't know who wrote this, but it's so old. I've seen it around. You can Google it. But if Jesus came to your house to spend a day or two, if he came unexpectedly, I wonder what you'd do. Oh, I know, you'd give the nicest room to such an honored guest, and all the food you'd serve to him would be the very best, and you'd keep assuring him you're so glad to have him there that serving him in your own home is joy beyond compare. But when you saw him coming, would you meet him at the door with arms outstretched in welcome to your heavenly visitor? Or would you have to change your clothes before you let him in, or hide some magazines and put the Bible where they had been instead? Would you turn off the radio and hope he hadn't heard, and wished you hadn't uttered that last loud, hasty word? What would you hide? Would you change the recording on your TV or not let him see what you looked at on social media? Would you be glad to have him meet your friends or hope they would stay away till his visit ends? Would you be glad to have him stay forever on and on? Or would you sigh with great relief when he at last was gone? It might be interesting to know the things that you'd do if Jesus Christ in person came to spend some time with you. Anyway, Psalms 127, unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain who build it. Unless the Lord guards the city, the watchman stays awake in vain. Do you love that? Oh man, unless, again, you can watch all you want till your eyes bug out, but unless Jesus is watching your home, it's going to be in vain. I love that he's watching. He's watching. I love that. He's watching with you. And then again, she does not eat the bread of idleness, which I know I've eaten many a loaf in my day. She does not eat the bread of idleness. But idle, what does it mean? To be inactive, stationary, no movement, stagnant, incomplete, lacking worth or purpose, lazy, loaf, and lounge. Lazy, loaf, and lounge, or to veg out. You get the picture. The opposite of that would be, the opposite of idle is to be alive and busy, employed, moving, functioning, active, operating. I love that. And working. Great picture. But Proverbs 19:15 says, lazy people might sleep soundly, but idleness leaves them hungry. Idleness leaves them hungry. Ecclesiastes 10:18, because of laziness, the building decays, and through idleness, the house drops through. Wow, what a picture. Through idleness, the house drops through. Ezekiel 16:49. This is a really heavy scripture. This was the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah. You know, when we think of the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah, we think of, fornication and adultery and all that kind of stuff, sexual sins, and those are bad for sure. But this was the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah. This will blow your mind. Pride. Whoa. Fullness of bread, abundance of idleness, and neither did she strengthen the hands of the poor and needy. Whoa. Sodom and Gomorrah, idleness? Whoa. Something to really think about. That's Ezekiel 16:49. It's a heavy scripture. Proverbs 26:15. The lazy man buries his hand in his bowl, and he won't even put his mouth, he won't even eat. He's too tired to put his hand to his mouth. That's pretty pathetic. Oh, Lord. Matthew 25:18. He buries his talent due to laziness. And remember, when Jesus has given us all talents, all something, a gift, at least put it in the bank, he says, so I could have collected interest. Don't bury your talent. Jesus hates that. Acts 17:21, and they spent their time in nothing else but either to tell or to hear of some new thing. People sit around just want to hear stuff. And then again, people who gossip have way too much time on their hands. People who gossip have way too much time on their hands. 1 Timothy 15:13, they learn to be idle, wandering about from house to house, and not only idle, but also gossip and busybodies, saying things they shouldn't be saying. Lord help us. Saying things they shouldn't be saying. Okay, Proverbs 10:4. She who has a slack hand will become poor. She who has a slack hand will become poor. And you know what? Pray. When you're tempted to gossip or talk about somebody, just stop and pray. But the hand of the diligent will make rich. The hand of the diligent makes rich. That's Proverbs 10:4. Proverbs 12:24, the hand of the diligent will rule, but the lazy man will be put to forced labor. Ooh. The hand of the diligent will rule, but the lazy man will be put to forced labor. Okay, Proverbs 26:14, as a door turns on its hinges, so does the lazy man on his bed. Is that just classic? Proverbs 26:14, as a door turns on its hinges, so does the lazy man on his bed. You just picture that. Okay, Proverbs 6:9. How long will you slumber, O sluggard? When will you rise from your sleep? Proverbs 6:6. Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider your ways and be wise. You ever seen an ant? They're busy all day long. I love that. Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider her ways. Proverbs 6:6. Proverbs 13:4. The soul of the lazy man desires and has nothing, but the soul of the diligent makes rich. And for sure that means spiritually too. Proverbs 18:9. He who is slothful, oh, you never put these two words together. Slothful, destroyer, slothful, destroyer. Whoa. He who is slothful is a brother to him who is a great destroyer. Wow. Okay, Proverbs 19:15. Laziness casts one into a deep sleep, and an idle person will be hungry. Okay. Those of you who like food, then, this is for you. Okay. Don't be lazy, you'll be hungry. Proverbs 20, verse 4. The lazy man will not plow because of winter, but he will beg during harvest and have nothing. Remember that book, The Little Red Hen? Look it up. It's a great story. How the little red hen asks all the farm animals, who wants to help me till the wheat or plow the wheat and water it and grind it and all this stuff. And not I, I'm tired. But then when she baked that loaf of bread and they could smell it, it smelled so good. Who wants to help me eat it? And all of them, of course. Oh, I will. And she said, sorry, you didn't help me. So I know that sounds mean, but it's a great principle for your kids, okay? If you don't work, you don't eat. Okay, the little red hen, just look it up. Anyway, Proverbs 20 verse 13, almost done here. Do not love sleep, lest you come to poverty. Open your eyes and you will be satisfied with bread. Love that. Proverbs 22:13, the lazy man says, there's a lion outside. I can't go out. I can't do anything. Really? Okay. Proverbs 24:30 and 31. I went by the field of the lazy man, by the vineyard of the man void of understanding, and there it was, his house all overgrown with thorns and thistles, and his stone wall was broken down. Not a pretty sight. Okay, Romans 12:11. Not lagging in diligence, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. Wow. Does Jesus not give you energy? Does just the joy of serving? I just got back from a whirlwind weekend speaking at a women's conference and then speaking at the Bible college for the girls. I can't even tell you, physically I was exhausted, but I can't even tell you the joy of serving the Lord. There's nothing better. If your fruit is rotten at home, again, don't export it. Be diligent at home, and then God will use you outside the home. You know, what blessings are you missing out on? What riches from God are you missing out on because you're lazy? And are you full or are you hungry today? How's your life going? She looks well to the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. God bless you. See you next time.